This is the
Welcome to Raw is Jericho!
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Listen up, you blind slapnut.
If I can be serious for a minute.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.
The real reason I'm here tonight is because we are live!
We are NXT.
It's your time, folks! Sweet! A little bit of the bubbly.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
For life.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all the ages, it is Thursday again and it's the first week of November. So what does that mean? Well, November means we give thanks. We all join hands, we join up as a family. Sit down, have some turkey, some mashed potatoes, some gravy, maybe some rolls with some butter on it. Wait, but that's not until later in the month. But what else does that mean? Well, it's Thursday, so that means it must be the Flex Network's Wrestling Weekend Review Show here on Facebook, here on YouTube, and on Twitter. And what a week has it been. I mean, such a good week. A lot of action going down. SmackDown, Raw, NXT, Dynamite. We're getting ready for Full Gear coming up this Sunday. And not only that, Power Struggle for New Japan Pro Wrestling is this Saturday also. So a lot to get to on this first Thursday of November in the month that is reminiscent to be celebrating, because we're on the road to Survivor Series, also the 30-year history of The Undertaker. And you know what? We got a lot of stuff to get to. So let's get into this. And we haven't done this for a while, but we got to get to it. Stretch it out just a little bit. Get that arm. You got to get both sides going, because we are live. Yes, we're live and in living color on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. And then, of course, later we'll be live. Will not be live, but this is being recorded for a podcast, so you can listen to it later. But it is Thursday, so let's get into what went down in the week of wrestling. We'll head up with a little news, a little bit more news this week than what past weeks. But of course, some weeks there's not a whole lot, there's a lot. It's a mixed bag of nuts. But let's see. Stone Cold is going to get a documentary done with producer Jake Rogel, the producer who did the MJ Last Dance documentary. It will be in conjunction with WWE and AEW's biography. So as it will, and they're going to be covering a vast amount of superstars. They're going to do an Austin documentary. They're going to do a Piper documentary. They're going to do a Savage, a Booker T, and an HBK documentary in the coming, that's what's coming down the pipe with WWE and A&E biography series. So the Austin documentary is being thrown out there that it will be in 2021. So be on the lookout for that next year. Should be good. I mean, it's Stone Cold. I mean, if you've seen, his previous documentaries, it's very insightful, to see how the rattlesnake became the rattlesnake, how he got into this business, and how he flourished or had his setbacks. He had some great moments, setbacks, the firing from WCW, going to ECW for a little bit, then going to WWE, and then hanging out mid card, getting that push, and then blowing up into a new stratosphere and everything that went with him. So hope, I'm interested to see what the Austin documentaries are going to be about, and to even see more of Austin. Stone Cold, can't get enough of him. What? Other news, with that kind of feel, Vince McMahon is going to get himself a documentary, and it will be with WWE and Netflix, as they have reached a groundbreaking deal to produce a Vinnie Mac documentary, and it is being reported that it is the most expensive documentary that Netflix has ever done. So cha-ching is being thrown out there that it will be a 4-episode doc. So keep an eye on that for a Netflix, as it should be a very interesting documentary to see how Vince McMahon became Vince McMahon, and how he got to the top, from being a lonely little ring announcer, color commentator, and his life too, all the way through to being a color commentator, working for his dad, taking over the biz, and literally shooting it straight up to the moon, and everything that has gone on with Vince McMahon. So should be interesting, but keep an eye on that for Netflix. Don't know when it's going to be coming out, but it's soon to be in the works, so keep an eye on that. If you watched Dynamite this week, you notice that Scorpio Sky was not at Dynamite this week, as he was supposed to have a match with Shawn Spears, but due to Scorpio being exposed to someone with COVID through contact tracing within the last 14 days, the match has been postponed. So, yeah, Scorpio Sky is in COVID protocol right now. Hope it's not, hope it's just, he gets through the 14 days and, gets through the time period that he needs to get this out of his system, or if it's, nothing. So, but yeah, Scorpio Sky was not at Dynamite this past week. Other big news for AEW, Mr. Rhodes can now go for his full Cody name, because the Cody Rhodes name, because WWE has filed a notice of cancellation with the Patent and Trademark Office on November 2nd to abandon the trademark for Cody Rhodes. And it was finalized yesterday morning. So within a span of 2 days, the Cody Rhodes trademark is no longer under WWE control, which means Cody Rhodes can actually be used again by Mr. Cody Rhodes at AEW. So he doesn't have to worry about paying any legal fees or any or royalties for using his full name if he wanted to. As we've just been knowing him as, Cody for the last years, or actually a couple years now, since he left WWE, went to Ring of Honor, went to New Japan, now AEW. So yeah, he can use it again. I think that's, a very awesome to say the least. And of course, Cody, saying, "Hey, it's business. I have no ill will with the, with what, with what WWE was doing with it. I mean, as I'm not, with part of the company anymore, it's their trademark, and now they filed for a cancellation. So, I mean, it's a business decision. I have no ill will with them, so it's good. Guy, I mean, it's not like they did something horrible with it, and just, we're doing this out of spite. It's just, hey, you were working here, and your name was, under a trademark, so you can't use you can't use the Rhodes outside of WWE because we hold the right to Cody Rhodes. So again, business, but now it's free and clear for Cody Rhodes to use the name again, the full name, Cody Rhodes, in AEW if you wanted to, and if you wanted to file for it. So, also with somewhat news with superstars, former NWA Women's Champ, Allison Kay, aka for anyone who knows, TNA's, as I know her as TNA's Saina. She was with Maria Cantwell. She was a Knockouts champ down there at Impact for a short time. She's now a free agent. She's no longer under the NWA banner. Hopefully, we'll get to see her in maybe AEW. Maybe go to New Japan. She's open to go places now, as she's no longer under the NWA contract and under that banner anymore. Hopefully, she finds a great spot to land and continues wrestling. Speaking of females, it has been put out there from Kylie Rae that she is taking a break from wrestling and social media as she is unwell, and in her own post saying she is no longer a pro wrestler. This was a post she had put, and this is a quote from her post that she had made from her, I want to say it's her Patreon page. So the quote is, "I'm truly sorry for the pain I've caused and miscommunication. I'm currently unwell. I'm also sorry that I wasn't able to get this out before your monthly subscription charge. I wanted to take this time to say I'm no longer a professional wrestler and am taking a break from social media. It's been a very hard decision to make, but please understand, when I'm well, I will try to fulfill any obligations that I have missed." As she was supposed to be at Bound for Glory and fight for the Knockouts title, but of course she wasn't there. She no-showed, and they had to switch it up to put what was it, Su Yung, or no, not Su Yung. Shoot, I'm like drawing a blank off the top of my head. It is current champ. It's like, I know who I'm thinking of. It's like the demon. Yeah, Su Yung. Yeah, that's I was right. I knew it. I was thinking of the person from the movie Rush Hour for like a half a second, but yeah, Su Yung. She's the current champ, and they had to switch it up and made her the champ at Bound for Glory. So unfortunately, it sucks that Kylie Rae is unwell. Hopefully it's it's nothing majorly serious, but if it's something serious, I hope and pray that she's gets the help that she needs, or takes this time to take a break and to recharge and to just relax. So again, if you guys out there, if you know someone that is in any state of trouble, just reach out to people that give them the tools that they need, so that they can help themselves. Even if it's just a contact, to say hi or to check in on someone, make sure you do, because not a lot of people realize that people, that you are close to are hurting and they just need someone to talk to. So again, just throwing it out there. But yeah, good wishes for Kylie Ray as she takes this time to relax, heal up, get her mental state, in the right track. If it's, take a breather and just to step away from everything. Other last little bit of news. If you've been watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, that it looks like more people could be coming back to the shows as Japan is starting to ease restrictions a little bit with the COVID mandates. But wrestlers still, everyone still has to quarantine for 2 weeks. So, and venues are currently allowed to have 40% capacity. That includes the Tokyo Dome for when we get to that January 4th and 5th for Wrestle Kingdom coming up. So, but with the Japan starting to ease the restrictions a little bit and allow people to come into Japan, we could probably be seeing a lot of the American wrestlers that are under New Japan contract. We could start to see them come back into New Japan and get them, get everything starting to get more back up and normal with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and get, like Bullet Club back to get all the members fully together, the American and the Japanese wrestlers together again, and we can get everything back together somewhat. But so it looks like it could be good. But of course, I got quarantine for 2 weeks, and then I believe John Mox, of course, will have to defend the U.S. title coming up at Wrestle Kingdom. Let me double check. New Japan or United States champ. Yeah, just a lot of time, just want to make double sure that it would be John Mox. Moxley, he's current. Just gotta make a double sure that he is still looked at as the U.S. champ. Yeah, he is still the U.S. champ. So it's not it. So yeah, he'll probably be heading towards that way come, about, probably December, because he'll have to spend 2 weeks in quarantine before the show. So should be a very interesting next 2 months for John Mox, because of course, this weekend he's going to have to defend the heavyweight title, and then depending on when he leaves for New Japan, might be middle of December. Yeah, because 4th, so that would be the Monday and Tuesday of the new year. So before that, so the safest bet would be 1, 2. He would have to leave literally the middle of December. So if AEW needs the heavyweight champion for any reason for middle of December, they're gonna have to work around it. So and then of course, last little bit, last two little things. AEW Games is going to be announcing something next week, November 10th. So make sure you check their social medias and their YouTube for info for their potential future games, for wrestling game that they're probably coming out with. And then of course, Matt Jackson of the Bucks is suffering a legit injury right now, with a partially torn MCL and a slight ACL tear. He's had that injury since middle of the summer, since their July 16th Falls Count Anywhere match against Butcher and the Blade. So he's kind of hobbling a little bit, but again, with everything going on, and I don't see what's going to be, what could happen, what the injury could play into coming up this Saturday with Full Gear, with the Bucks taking on FTR for the tag team titles in their last shot ever match. If the Bucks do not win, then they will never challenge for the tag team titles again, period. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, that match coming up. But yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting lead up, match coming up this Saturday. But that is going to be it for the news for this week's show. Let's get into what happened on TV this week. And as you know, when you hear the woo, that means it's a spoiler alert. So if you did not watch any Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and you had it recorded, you might want to mute this, but at this point, or if this is podcasting, you're listening to it later, a little bit later, skip ahead, because we're going to be talking what went down on the shows this week. And then near the end of the show, we'll talk about what's coming up on the horizon, because it's going to be a lot of stuff, guys, upcoming, and especially this weekend, guys, a lot of stuff. 2 sets of pay-per-views, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about that. But let's get into what happened this past week. Let's get to SmackDown. Let's talk a little bit about that Blue brand. Switch this over to the Blue Show, and ba-doom, we're here. We're on the Blue Show. We're on SmackDown. We'll talk with a little Blue Show action. The night before Halloween, we had ourselves a couple of SmackDown Survivor Series qualification matches. To talk about Kevin Owens defeating Dolph Ziggler to join the men's team, the first member of the Blue Brand's Survivor Series team. Let's see. Bianca Belair qualified for the women's side of the bracket, or side of the world, in a triple threat match against Billie Kay and Natalya to qualify for Team Blue's women's team. Tag team action, we had the Profits, the SmackDown tag champs, getting that matchup against the former SmackDown champs, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. And when I say the former champs, I know technically the former champs were the New Day, but I'm saying because they had to do the switch over that they're still technically the champs, because they're still champs on Raw right now. But I'm saying that the last team that was beat for the tag titles, so that was Cesaro and Shinsuke. But it was a good match with the Profit. Actually, it was a very great match. I loved watching the Street Profits Cesaro match, or Cesaro Shinsuke Nakamura match. Dude, a lot of craziness with that one. Cesaro launching Montez Ford up into the air over the barricade, and literally just, and actually, you know what? I don't even need to use that, because I got this.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
Yeah, he was still hanging in the air, but yeah, he had some hang time on that. Literally, it was just so crazy to see Montez just get heads up and just come flat on the other side of the barricade, it looked like. But that was crazy to say the least. The Profits do pick up the victory over the former, the last beaten tag team champions, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura, on the night before Halloween episode. And then the final Match of the night, another men's Survivor Series qualification match. Jey Uso taking on Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan unfortunately came up short on Jey Uso as he qualified to join Team SmackDown for Survivor Series, and then afterwards, Jey has fallen in line with Roman, his cousin. As you know, when we kicked off the show, Jey was so emotional with his cousins, like, why you gotta do this? You couldn't beat me. You had to use my brother, to the only person I would quit for, and to save my brother, I had to quit. And then, yeah, it's just so emotional. I mean, literally, I swear on this show that Jey Uso should be given a legitimate opportunity to be Universal Champion before we get, even if it gets us to WrestleMania. I want to say, even if we get to Royal Rumble, he wins the title, he holds it for a month. And then, and I get what, WWE and a lot of people are putting out there that Jey is joining Roman, and that once Jimmy gets back, that he's going to join his brother, and then these guys are going to run roughshod on SmackDown. They're going to dominate on SmackDown. I would not be surprised if we see the Usos take the tag titles off the Profits. I would not be surprised if Roman holds on to the Universal title all the way through to WrestleMania. But I'm looking at this at the emotional standpoint, because Jey has been here for so long. He's been a tag team specialist. Now with his brother injured and gone, out of the picture, been gone for a while with his knee injury, Jey's had a lot of opportunity to shine, and he's been shining. And while, yeah, it's been, with his cousin Roman, I do believe that Jey deserves an opportunity for a singles title. Yes, the Intercontinental Championship right now is kind of in a fluxive state. I mean, yeah, with Sami Zayn is the champ, and after him winning it back, / retaining it at Clash of Champions in the ladder match, not real much competition out of that IC title, to say the least. And if I would, I would go on a limb and say Jey Uso deserves to hold on to the Intercontinental Championship, but at least give this man an opportunity for the universe. Give him a legitimate shot at the Universal title to hold on to it. To create more of a angry, paranoid Roman, to where even if we get to Royal Rumble, even if we get to February, I'll even go that far, February, where Jey's looking at Roman. It's like, yeah, I'm falling in line. I'm adhere to my word, but I'm getting in this main event title picture scene. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna say, I'm telling you, Roman. It's like, yeah, I don't want to go after the title. I just want to get that payday. Like we were supposed to do back in October or September. Back in October, you just a payday. I'll lay down, and then all of a sudden, Jey just gets that shock surprise, and Roman loses his stuff. Like, literally, just what the and just loses his stuff over, losing the title to Jey over like literally the next month, going into March. Seeing, think if I'm trying to think if this will fall into, like after the Rumble, we go into like Fastlane, or if it goes into Elimination Chamber, and then, or vice versa, and then goes into WrestleMania, in April. But that's only if it's going to work like that. Let's see. 6. I want 37 then. WrestleMania 37. It's like, you got to a lot of it. Let me, yep, scratch that. It will be in March. So that's going to eliminate at least one pay-per-view off the books for me. Okay. So January, we go into Rumble. Maybe Jay, I don't know. It's a 2-month, and I get the idea of what they're, a lot, what the look it's supposed to look like with Jay and Jimmy are supposed to join Roman. They're supposed to run roughshod. So that's what, 2 months right there. We're looking at Rumble. After Rumble, it could be Fastlane, could be the Chamber, and then we go right to the end of March for WrestleMania 37. So yeah, and of course, everyone thinking that's going to be The Rock taking on Roman. And I could see, and I really do see that right now, especially with, with everything using with the Jay and everything that went down at Hell in a Cell and Clash of Champions. So yeah, there's a lot that I could see going into the last half of the wrestling year for WWE. We finished strong, get the wheels rolling with the Survivor Series, or actually after Survivor Series, into Royal Rumble, and the last big push heading into WrestleMania season, and then all the way through to WrestleMania. So, but that's just my thing on SmackDown. So that was SmackDown this past week. Let's roll on over to that Monday Night Raw. It's nice to be over here on the Red Brand sometimes. As while SmackDown have 4 matches, and I keep pushing this, that while SmackDown is a 2-hour show, and they only have a short amount of time for matches. I've understood that for years, but I feel like like SmackDown gives you quality over quantity. Raw just gives you quality or quantity over quality. They give you more. So, being a 3-hour show, Raw having 9 matches on the docket this past week. Now, I will, of course, I'm going to give my 2 cents on the Raw show after we go through it. Jeff Hardy taking on Elias and the guitar on a pole match. I'm kind of a little interested with, with this story. I mean, continuing from SmackDown, what happened with Elias, being hit by a car that it was under Jeff Hardy's name, but of course, everyone thinking Sheamus set up Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was not proven guilty, and yeah. But I feel like Elias has been really underutilized. I mean, yeah, he had some good moments, but I'm still not liking him a whole lot because of the plain fact he made that comment in Seattle several years ago, not a couple years ago, with Kevin Owens right before they went off to Super Show. And literally, if you want to talk about the sign to activate the how do we piss off an entire city button, if you want to figure out how to hit that button, come to Seattle with a live microphone and the world, millions of people watching at home, thousands in attendance at what was then Key Arena and what will soon be Greenhouse Arena, or the Amazon's Greenhouse place, and say with a live microphone that it's so weird, it doesn't make sense, like Seattle having a basketball team. And I can tell you with honest and certain passion and truth, I was there when he said that, with Kevin Owens in the middle of the ring. and the place went off. Literally. Literally, just imagine that, but 10 times that passion. And I'm not even talking about like politic passion, like what's going on this, after election craziness, and even before that. I'm talking about like sport fans that, were just given the old shank to the side with a little jab. But yeah, that was just pure stupidity. Smart on Elias to actually, to play the heel and to jab at the Seattle crowd, with the Sonics and how they moved to Oklahoma City. But damn, that still resonates with me. It's like, damn, that was just so good. That was such a good burn, but damn, really, I was booing. But thanks to Renee for dropping in that Death Lamp Shrimp quote in there. I loved it. It's like, no respect for Death Lamp Shrimp. It's like, oh, I saw that, I rewatched on Raw, later on the network, and when I got home, I'm like, oh, I like Renee so much more now. She knows what she's talking about. She knows this. It's like, yes, I like Renee Young even more now. But all right, moving on with with the lies. The guitar thing. I feel like he's been using that guitar a whole lot more like Jeff Jarrett did back at WCW. If you guys remember, choke on that, slap nuts. And I'm the chosen one with that silver guitar that you hit someone with it, or if it hit the ground, it would just explode into a million pieces. I think Elias needs to use that. The guitar needs to be a lot less. Let's say he has two guitars. He has one that plays, and then he brings out a lighter version one that he can just come on out and bash the back of the head of someone, or even on the head of someone. That would just make him so much better if he had that style of guitar instead of the one he kind of has, the one that kind of looks more like it's a brick, like a regular guitar that he just busts someone over the head or the back of the head with. But Jeff Hardy beats Elias in the guitar on a pole match. Women's tag team titles are on the line as Jax and Shayna Baszler taking on Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose in tag team action. I don't know how I want to describe this. I mean, it was an okay match with the new tag team of Dana and Mandy trying to take out, of course, these are members, all four of these women are members of the Raw Women's Survivor Series team. So, I don't know, it's this close, we're in the month of November, and you're going to be trying to go for the tag titles this close. Not real smart on, especially trying to piss off your own teammates. I understand if it was, Jax and Baszler going to NXT and having to defend the tag titles against, someone on, of course, NXT and then losing or getting a good shot out of there, or coming to SmackDown to defend the titles and losing it to SmackDown before Survivor Series. But again, just something out there. And of course, I've said that Jax and Shayna Baszler are reminiscent for me of the early Sheamus and Cesaro tag team, The Bar, before they actually became a real great tag team. If you guys remember that. But on this night, Jax and Baszler retain the tag titles, and Jax is not done for the night. We'll get that in a short little second. Bobby Lashley taking on R-Truth in one-on-one action. Bobby Lashley literally destroys R-Truth. R-Truth, while he was still knocked down, Drew Gulak comes sliding in after the match to try to get the 24/7 title. Bobby Lashley locks in his submission, locks in that full Nelson submission, knocks out Drew Gulak, pulls Drew Gulak over R-Truth, and Truth loses the title again, loses the 24/7 title to Drew Gulak, and Drew Gulak didn't even realize it until he was in the back, after he woke up in the back, with the title, and he pieced out. He was like, oh my God, I'm so excited, but I'm so excited. I didn't realize, I won the title. Oh, I gotta go. So, and then of course, after a little bit later, we had Nia Jax taking on Lana in one-on-one action after Lana, popped her head down at during the tag team title match, women's tag team title match. Jax beat her again, and then of course, was about to leave, and actually even before the match, you saw Shayna Baszler, knock stuff off the announcer's table. So it's like, oh boy, here we go. After the match, Jax and Shayna were leaving. They got about 3 steps up the ramp, and they're like, should we? I don't know. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Back to the ring, grab Lana, and for not the first, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, not for a fifth, not for a sixth, but for the 7th straight week in a row, Lana has been put through the announce table. And it's now starting to get, it was funny at first, but now it's just be like, okay, what is the setup for this? Is this punishment for the husband? Are we still on this whole punishment with Miro leaving WWE and going to AEW, and now the only punishment we can do is just on Lana and put her through the table for X amount of weeks? Or is this just building for something else to where Lana gets a tag partner and they beat Jax and Baszler for the tag titles in humiliation for Jax and Baszler? So I don't know. I've kind of lost the thought on that. It's 7 straight weeks for putting her through this table. It's just getting to a point where it's starting to look like a car crash every week, just to see this poor woman just going through and just being destroyed every week. It's,
you're killing me, Smalls.
I got nothing on that. Braun Strowman, we had a triple threat match to see if Braun Strowman was going to join Team Raw for the Men's Survivor Series match, or elimination match, for Team Raw, taking on fellow members Keith Lee and Sheamus. Braun does join the team. He is on the team. He's joined up with AJ. He's joined up with Keith, with Sheamus. They're still missing one. They still need a 5th member, and Sheamus trying to get the former WWE champion to join, before his handicap match in the main event against Drew McIntyre, with Drew McIntyre taking on The Miz and Morrison. He picks up the victory, and then after, at the end of the night, gets RKO'd from Randy Orton, thanks to earlier in the night, Orton getting distracted from the Fiend / Alexa Bliss. And then immediately afterwards, gets Claymore kicked. The Miz tried for a cash in, and Drew McIntyre is now, I'm pretty sure it's more along the lines of thinking of he's going to be Orton's guardian angel of pain, because he's going to protect Orton until he wants to take the WWE title away from him, and he's gonna kick the living crud out of him until he gets the title. So yeah, it's weird, but it's looking like it's going to be a 3-headed monster of a situation for Orton, as he has to contend with not only Drew McIntyre for a rematch, he has to contend with The Miz for a cash-in, and he's going to have to contend with The Fiend for payback and vengeance for several years ago at WrestleMania 30. What was it? 35? No, not 35. 30. Happy 30. Was it 34 or? No, it was 33. WrestleMania 33. Orton took the title. He remember WrestleMania 33 season. It was 2017. Orton had joined Bray Wyatt. He was, WWE champion, or around that time, Orton joined the Wyatt family. Orton was the Royal Rumble winner. Then Sheamus became, or sorry, not Sheamus. Bray became WWE champion at Elimination Chamber, defeating AJ Styles, and then Orton burned down the Wyatt complex with Sister Abigail. That led to the WWE title match. Orton won, and that led to literally the most craziest time, afterwards, with Payback having the House of Horrors match that was a little creepy, a little confusing, and just you're gonna it's cuckoo, leading all the way through to Backlash, where actually it was after, at least leading through Backlash, or cannot get my it was actually before Backlash, because Orton had lost the title thanks to Jinder cashing in his WWE his contract for the. Sorry, I cannot get my own words straight. I'm like, ugh. Oh no, it wasn't the cash in. I forgot. No, Orton beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, held on to it all the way through Payback, and then after the shakeup, we had the non-title match. We had a match non-title at Payback because it was still scheduled. Orton was now on SmackDown. Jinder had just won a six-pack challenge, become number one contender, and then at Payback, or Jinder interfered for Bray, costing Orton the match, and then at Backlash we had the WWE title match. I had to try to go through 3 years ago, trying to remember the exact what happened. It was 3 years ago. Gotta remember the events in order. But yeah, so just a lot of coming back and revisiting old rivals, which I'm loving what is going on with the Fiend and Orton and Drew. Orton now tied at 2, number 2 spot with Triple H at 14 times. He's 2 away from tying Cena and Flair at 16. Drew McIntyre wants the title back. He wants his, from Hell in a Cell. He wants his title back. And then, of course, the Fiend, who has basically just been going on this tear since Bray Wyatt made the Fiend, and going after all the people that has wronged him, whether it be Seth Rollins, whether it be Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns. Actually, it was more like a quick little thing with Roman in the mix, but getting payback on Braun for his, not really betrayal, I would say. It was more like they were broken up. Braun was drafted to a different show, left. the Wyatts, and he was just a loose cannon on Raw while Bray was on SmackDown. And then Braun becomes champion. The Fiend comes into the mix, and he wants him to join back up, and all this craziness. So it was. I love that whole interaction with the Fiend and Bray Wyatt. It was Bray Wyatt and the Fiend taking on Braun Strowman, and now circling back to an older rivalry. I mean, yeah, and even at WrestleMania this past year with John Cena, finishing up that whole story with him from WrestleMania 30, and afterwards, post WrestleMania 30, which it was just awesome. I love that match at WrestleMania 30. I like that match at WrestleMania 30 and how it was built, trying to get Cena to give into his anger and all that stuff. And then come to find out, years and years later, as Cena was like, "Hey, I'm not going to be on the match at WrestleMania 36. I'm going to let's get the younger talent on the show more." And then the Fiend comes in and challenges him to the Firefly Funhouse match, which we got to see him go through, the past, everything, just out of the ordinary with craziness. Just going through let's see, Cena as part of the NWO, and heel Cena. We had old school Saturday Night's main event, and just seeing the Fiend do the Muscle Man dance, that that Muscle Man version of the Fiend joining with John Cena in this old school cage control mentality, and it was just like a dream sequence. Go through and see Cena reenact his first day on SmackDown against Kurt Angle. And the only thing you could say was ruthless aggression. Bray Wyatt going back to the Wyatt family persona, and going back to WrestleMania 30 and how everything with that, and then changing the history with that. Instead of Cena winning, Bray beat Cena, Bray didn't beat Cena on that one. Cena, instead of using the chair and tossing it away at the WrestleMania 30 match, he had used the chair, so reversed it, and then transported back to WCW time and transformed it into NWO Monday Nitro as Wyatt as Eric Bischoff and Cena as Hogan with the NWO belt. And then we just get turned into this hellish alternate, now universe where Cena has just been put through the ringer and all this craziness, and the Fiend beats Cena. So the Fiend cleaning up / fixing all the wrongs that have happened to Bray Wyatt. I love this mentality of what they're doing with him. It's been great. And now we're getting into the Randy Orton saga from back in 2017 of the betrayal, the burning down of the complex, and what eventually led to this Firefly Funhouse creation. I can't wait to see it. And then, of course, The Miz trying to cash in on Orton for the second time in career and try to win the WWE title from him again for his second title as champ, as world champ. So Orton's got a lot on his plate, especially heading into the Survivor Series with going up against Roman Reigns again, but this time it's champion versus champion in the brand matchup. So, yeah, I don't know. But, all right, and then two last little things before we get off Raw. Hurt Business beats the New Day. Possibility this could be, we might have a title change with Hurt Business getting in the tag team title picture and taking the New Day out of the brand supremacy match at the tag team title match at Survivor Series. And then Ricochet beats Tucker in a don't care match, and then afterwards gets destroyed by Retribution and Ali. So that was Raw. And went off on a little tangent about how I'm liking the Fiend and everything that's going on with him. Yeah, CG, Corey, NWO for life. I mean, literally, just going back and watching WrestleMania this past year and seeing the dream sequence of the Firefly Funhouse, and just not only going back and trying to alter history, in this dream mentality for Cena with the Ruthless Aggression taking on Kurt Angle and making him, just the only words he could say is Ruthless Aggression throughout the whole thing, to going back to the 80s with, Saturday Night's Main Event, going forward to their WrestleMania 30 match and changing the chair shot history. Instead of not hitting Bray Wyatt, but instead hitting him and being transported all the way to even go back to WCW days, and him being treated as, heel Cena with the NWO title and being controlled as the NWO leader. It was just so well played. Man, that was just a lot of great stuff from WrestleMania. So that was Raw. Let's get into NXT this past week, the post-Halloween Havoc edition of the show. Dakota Kai taking on Ember Moon. Let me bring that part up. Dakota Kai taking on Ember Moon in a one-on-one action. Great matchup between these two. Again, pulling for Ember Moon to get into the title picture and hold up and get the NXT Women's title. But even so with Dakota Kai, loving her work. Dakota Kai picking up the victory over Ember Moon. Hopefully, one of these two will get into get the title shot against Io Shirai after they're done with Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai, settling that score. Kushida taking on Cameron Grimes, and Cameron Grimes is still freaked the hell out. Like, his brain is scrambled from the haunted house match last at Halloween Havoc, as literally he's still spooked at the referee, Darrell, Darrell. Yeah, I think it's Darrell, or Daryl. But yeah, he is freaked out to where he saw him during the match, freaked out, got rolled up and pinned by Kushida. So I'm still gonna like what's happening with Cameron Grimes. This cocky attitude. And he gets a life check at the haunted house match with Dexter, and now he's freaking he's tripping on acid essentially with this after effects. He's tripping big time. Drake Maverick and Killian Dane taking on Everrise. Unfortunately, we don't have a winner because that match ended in a no contest thanks to a brutal attack by Pat McAfee, the tag team champs Oney Larkin and Danny Burch, and Pete Dunne coming in to just clean house and essentially burn the Undisputed Era, literally burn them, burn their flag and burn their legacy since they were not there. And then afterwards, Killian Dane just gets the headshot from the car kicked in thanks to Pete Dunne busting him up. So yeah, I'm really loving what they're doing with Pete Dunne, making this a payback tour for him for what happened back at TakeOver New Orleans, and everything with the Dusty Cup and his betrayal from Roderick Strong, costing them the tag team titles and the opportunity for holding on the tag team titles, and Roddy joining the Undisputed Era and everything that went into that. So a lot of payback, getting just literally just everything coming back at it. And yeah, I love it. Actually, no, was it Takeover New Orleans? I want to say it was Takeover New Orleans. No, it wasn't. Actually, yeah, it was. Yes, it was. It was Takeover New Orleans. And then first time ever we got to see this, Toni Storm making a return getting a first action against Shotzi Blackheart. Great match by these two. Literally, great match. Toni Storm picks up the victory over Shotzi, and then a still pissed off Candice comes in, rolls on over Shotzi's tank. Shotzi is in distress. Like, literally, she just lost her kid. And yeah, still sour grapes for Candice after Shotzi interfered in her women's TLS match, Tables, Ladders, and Scares match last week at Halloween Havoc. This should be an interesting program for these two. And then main event, Tommaso Ciampa taking on Velveteen Dream. Ciampa picking up the victory over Velveteen Dream. That was NXT for the week. We're going to head over to Dynamite quickly before we... Oh, hold on. There you go. I felt like it probably should have been a little bit better. But yeah, we're going to head over to Dynamite quickly and run down what went down this week, as it's the last stop to Full Gear this Saturday. Tag team action, MJF and Wardlow taking on Sammy Guevara and Ortiz of Inner Circle. MJF looking to get into the Inner Circle, proving his worth. He picks up the tag team victory over Guevara and Ortiz. As after the match, MJF leaves a message for Mr. Jericho by attacking him at the announcer's table and saying, like, hey, I'm ready. Let's go. Ready to go. I'll see you at Full Gear. Miro taking on Trent, picking up the victory with the game over submission, that camel clutch right there. Young Bucks taking on Private Party. And this was the match that was made up, or as a thanks to Scorpio not being able to be at the show thanks to his COVID situation. So the Young Bucks and Private Party was an extra addition. Bucks taking on or winning their match, getting a little bit more wear and tear before their tag team title match this Saturday. Afterwards, FTR comes in and attacks, looking to injure the Bucks more, heading into the tag team title scene. But we get a save from Adam Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, and they jaw jack for a little bit after running off FTR. Nyla Rose taking on Red Velvet. Nyla Rose picking up the victory. And then Cody, Billy, and Austin Gunn taking on the Dark Order in 6-man tag. Cody, Billy, and Austin Gunn picking up the victory. That was the go-home show for Dynamite. As we head into Full Gear this weekend, and boy, oh boy, this card is stacked, jacked, and ready to go. 8 great matches on the card, and then 1 for the buy-in. Let's run down the card quickly. I'll give you my thoughts on a couple of this. Match added to, it was supposed to be on. We had a match for the buy-in, but it was changed over to main card. So we need a buy-in match, and we got one. We have a one-on-one NWA Women's Championship match for the buy-in. Serena Deb taking on Allison Kay in women's action for buy-in. That's going to be great. The NWA Women's Championship is getting a great spotlight right now in the last little while for AEW. This working relationship looks great so far. I can't wait. And then, of course, the main card, you got Orange Cassidy taking on John Silver one-on-one. Jericho taking on MJF one-on-one. If MJF wins, he will join the Inner Circle. He will be allowed to join the Inner Circle. Haruka Shida taking on Nyla Rose. Women's title. The AEW women's title is on the line in singles action. And then in the Elite Deletion match at the Hardy compound, we don't know what the rules are. Like, no rules. We have no idea how you win, how it's going to roll. Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara, one-on-one, and it will look and feel like a cinema match. So a lot of things going on with that. For the AEW World title is on the line in an I Quit match. Moxley defends against Eddie Kingston. Should be a knockdown, drag him out, bloody match right there. Tag team titles are on the line as FTR will defend against the Young Bucks with 2 stipulations in place. Tully Blanchard is going to be banned from the ringside. He will not be a factor. And if the Bucks do not win the AEW World Tag Team titles, they will never challenge them or challenge for the tag team titles ever again. So basically a Cody Rhodes situation again, like it was for the world title, which means the Bucks will not be in tag team title contention ever again. And then Cody Rhodes will defend the TNT Championship against Darby Allin. And then the finals of the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament will take place as Adam Hangman Page, will take on former tag team partner and elite member. Well, they're both, well, he's former elite member because he's been kicked out, but Kenny Omega in the finals. The winner will receive a future world title match against either Mox or Kingston. So it should be a great Full Gear this Saturday. But that's not the only thing going on this Saturday, as we gonna get some more pay-per-view action from the New Japan crew. That's right, New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm gonna talk about what's coming up on Saturday and then what's been dropping for these guys recently. So Saturday, November 7th, Power Struggle is going down. You guys make sure you go and check that show out, as we're going to have a lot of ramifications coming up for Wrestle Kingdom in January. So this will be the last opportunity for people to get into the main event scene for Wrestle Kingdom, because we have 6 matches on the card right now. We have a one-on-one match for the King of Pro Wrestling Championship. Provisional wise, it's not official. We don't have the official champion until we get to the end of the year, which then we'll have, again, whoever is think of it like, remember back in 2000 at WrestleMania 2000, we had the Hardcore Battle Royal for the Hardcore Championship. And at the end of the title could change hands within the 20-minute time limit. Whoever was the last person who is holding on to the championship, whoever was the last person to pin and win the championship, is the official champion. Or if you guys remember the championship scramble from Unforgiven 2007 for the ECW, the WWE, and the World Heavyweight title. It was a 20-minute match. Whoever is the last person to score a pinfall and be, as a provisional champion at the end of the time limit becomes the official champion. It's kind of like that for the King of Pro Wrestling champion, as it will be defended on a constant basis. Whoever the provisional champion is the recognized champion for the time until we get to the end of the year, and they will become the official champion, and then it resets for the next year. So the current champion, the current provisional champ right now is Toriano, and he will take on Zack Sabre Jr. in a one-on-one match for the King of Pro Wrestling Championship. There's no belt. It'll be a trophy at the end of the year. One-on-one opportunity for the Never Openweight Championship. Miro Suzuki taking on Shingo Taiji. I want to say it's Takagi. Neverweight Open Championship should be a damn good one. And I will come back to you, what the title is exactly, but because there are some titles that was like, wait, what title is that? I've never heard of that one. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah, the Never Openweight Championship is, it's owned by New Japan Pro Wrestling. It features young and upcoming talent and outside wrestlers that are not yet signed to the promotion. So yeah, it's just one of those. It's a title that's not. I don't know how to explain it, but it provides a lot of great content, guys, to go and check it out. It's an openweight championship, as it is also categorized as a heavyweight title, but it's a great, good championship. Provides a lot of action. One-on-one match, we got Kazuchika Okada. We got Okada taking on the Great O-Khan in one-on-one action. And then, of course, the big implications. IWGP briefcase, the championship opportunity briefcase, the rights to challenge Jon Moxley for the IWGP US heavyweight title is on the line. Kenta will defend his briefcase against Hiroshi Tanahashi. The winner of this match will be challenging Jon Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom for the US Heavyweight Championship. Should be a great match. And then another implication match as the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship rights certificate. Basically, the G1 tournament prize. The reason we had the G1 tournament, that prize is up for grabs at Power Struggle, as Kota Ibushi, the G1 champion, will defend his rights to challenge for the heavyweight and Intercontinental Championship match at Wrestle Kingdom against Tetsuya Naito. He will defend it against Jay White. And then, of course, Tetsuya Naito will defend the IWGP Heavyweight Champion and Intercontinental Championship at Power Struggle against Evil. And, of course, whoever wins those two matches will go on to Wrestle Kingdom and be in the main event. So a lot of implications here. So go and check out that, pay-per-view, Power Struggle, this Saturday. It is going to be awesome. Let me double check what time that show will go on. As it will be, hold on. Nope, I want 2020. Start time. It will start 3 a.m. Eastern time, so it'll be butt crack in the morning here. So what? So it'll be 1 o'clock, or it'll be midnight here on the West Coast. So make sure you guys go and check that out. You guys can go and get that on NewJapanWorld.com. I believe it's like $10. Great action. And then, of course, more little tidbits that we got coming out for what's coming up on the horizon for New Japan. The Super J Cup tournament is on the horizon next month, December 12th. It will be a one-night tournament in Los Angeles at the LA Dojo. We know the participants of the tournament, as it will be TJP, the former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, the current version of the Cruiserweight Championship. He was the inaugural winner of the Cruiserweight Classic. We have ACH, Leo Rush. You may have heard of him. He was in WWE. He was with Bobby Lashley. Here's a name everyone on the West Coast, especially over here at WAC, should know about, as it is the current world champ. Chris Bay is in the tournament, as he's also signed to Impact Wrestling, former X Division champion. He is signed to the tournament. So WAC, the Without a Cause world champ, is getting some, pushing out that WAC right now for New Japan, as he will be participating in the Super J Cup tournament. Ray Horns, I want to say Horace, Blake Christensen, Clark Connors, and El Phantasmo, last year's winner, defending his Super J Cup crown. That will happen in December, on Saturday, December 12th. It is in LA at the LA Dojo, so be sure to check that out. And then we do know that the Best of the Super Juniors tournament is coming up in 10 days. It will start in 10 days. It'll go from November 15th. It'll go all the way through to December 11th in Japan. And it will be it'll be a block style tournament, of course, with the Best of the Super Juniors. And we do know there'll be the 10 participants. It will be Ryusuke Tanji, Master Wato, Sho, Robbie Eagles, Hamuro Takahashi, Bushi, El Desperado, Yoshi Bohu I cannot say his name. I'm not going to try. Doyuki and Taiji Ishimori will be in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. That should be a damn good tournament right there. Think of it as a cruiserweights style tournament. Just looking to make sure I had I'm just making sure I had the how the tournament was going to go correctly in the style. Yep, it will be a block style tournament like it was for the G1 tournament, but it will be all 10 men will be in one block. So we will find out at the. We don't know exactly when the final is going to be, but of course it may be December 11th will be the final. But again, it will be block style starting from November 15th. It'll go all the way through to December 11th. And they will, more than likely, the winner of that tournament will get an opportunity at a championship. I want to say I'm not 100% sure on that one. I have to double check. It'll be upcoming probably in the next week that I will have that information concrete. But that is going to be it for what's going on. And of course, updated card for Survivor Series that we know of. Last little bit before we peace on out for the week. Drop that banner. I don't need that. And bring this up. We know that for Team Raw, for this 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series team match, we're going to have AJ, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun, and one last man to make up Team Raw to take on SmackDown's Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, and 3 members that we will probably find out starting tomorrow or next coming weeks. But that team will be filling out quite nicely. The women's Survivor Series team, Raw, will have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Lana taking on Team SmackDown's Bianca Belair and 4 to-be-determined members. U.S. and Intercontinental Championship will go one-on-one as Bobby Lashley will take on Sami Zayn. The tag team titles or champs will go heads up. It'll be New Day taking on the Profits, the Street Profits. And then the women's champions are going heads up as it'll be Asuka taking on Sasha Banks. But we do know that this coming tomorrow, we will have a rematch from Hell in a Cell with Sasha Banks taking on Bayley. And that may change up, or actually that will probably change up the representative for SmackDown, depending on what happens tomorrow night. And then, of course, the world champs are going heads up as Randy Orton will take on Roman Reigns. A lot of stuff on this road to Survivor Series. And speaking of Survivor Series, we're going to be celebrating a milestone, as it will be The Undertaker's 30-year in the WWE. 30 years exactly at Survivor Series. What a career. And in that 30 years, The Undertaker, at Survivor Series, at the Survivor Series that he debuted, The Undertaker has the most appearances. He's tied with his brother Kane at 18. And he is 13-5. Literally, you're talking since 1990, November 22nd, 1990, all the way through to his last appearance at Survivor Series, on the 22nd of 2015. That's a long time. And of course, this year being the 30th year that he's been under the WWE banner. But yeah, a lot of great matches. So you know what? I thought we would celebrate Undertaker for the next several weeks leading up to Survivor Series, because we're going to do something special for you guys. We're going to bring back up the wheel for you guys. Let's bring back up that wheel, because we going to bring it back up the wheel. And on this wheel right here is every Survivor Series pay-per-view that The Undertaker has been a part of. And you know what? We're going to have another pay-per-view / match rewatch edition, but it's for The Undertaker and the Survivor Series. So let's spin this wheel, and we're going to get you guys to watch some of this old school action right here. I mean, think about it. We got from 1990, this first time here, all the way through to 2015. I mean, you're talking about some great Survivor Series here. There's some great history here. But let's get into it. Ooh. 1994 Survivor Series. That's a classic. That is one hell of a classic Survivor Series. I mean, The Undertaker, not only was he was on the poster, but this was a very, very interesting time frame. I mean, you're talking about The Undertaker challenging Yokozuna actually, no, he wasn't challenging for the WWE Championship. Sorry. He just got done challenging Yokozuna for the WWE Championship. He lost to Yokozuna for the last time we saw him. He was in a casket, got stuffed in the casket. This time around, we had another casket match, but this time around, different story. But literally, this was a great pay-per-view, guys. This was 1994. I'll even go down the card for you guys. Dark match. It wasn't on the show, but Bob Holly taking on Quag. That's how you say it, but it wasn't on the show, so it doesn't really matter. But you had 3 Survivor Series style matches a WWF Championship match, and a casket match. The Survivor Series matchups. You had the bad guys. You had the 1-2-3 Kid, British Bulldog, Fatu, Razor Ramon, and I want to say Swan or Sony or Sony, aka he's been known as more like the Barbarian back in the NWA and WCW. But yeah, so you had the bad guys taking on the Teamsters of Diesel, Jeff Jarrett, Owen Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and Shawn Michaels. That was a good Survivor Series team right there. It was a great match. We have 4-on-4 Survivor Series tag team match. We had the royal family of Jerry the King Lawler taking on. I literally cannot believe this. He had little midgets called Cheesy, Queasy, and Sleazy taking on Clowns R Us and Doink the Clown, Dink the Clown, Pink the Clown, and Wink the Clown. Literally a laugh show right there on its own. 2 grown men and 6 midgets. We had a submission match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Bob Backlund taking on Bret the Hitman Hart. You had one more 5-on-5 Classic Survivor Series matchup. You had the $1 Million Team taking on, or the $1 Million Team with Bam Bam Bigelow, Jimmy Day Ray, King Kong Bundy, Tatanka, and Tom Pritchard. Taking on Guts and Glory with Adam Bomb, Bart and Billy Gunn, Lex Luger, and Mabel. That's a team right there. If you want to ask where the beef is, there's the beef. And then, of course, a casket match with a very special guest referee. You had The Undertaker taking on Yokozuna. And the special guest referee was none other than the Texas Ranger himself, Chuck Norris. How impressive can you not get with that card? I mean, just to have Chuck and freaking Norris as a special guest referee to keep law and order in a Undertaker and Yokozuna match was impressive. Literally in San Antonio, Texas, November 23rd, 1994. That was a great pay-per-view. While it did lead into the 95 Royal Rumble, and of course, Shawn Michaels winning his first Royal Rumble with that infamous, hanging on and 1 foot hitting the rope. So yeah, we had, that time frame was great. So that's, go and check out the 1994 Survivor Series. You'll get a kick out of it. Literally. So, but that is going to be it for me, guys, for this week. We're going to talk more history with Undertaker in the coming weeks as we get closer and closer to the 30th anniversary of the Dead Man. But that is going to be it for me this week. Last little housekeeping things we need to go through. Be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to the Flex Network on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter for your fantasy football needs. We're on the Flex Network Facebook. You get Get your info for fantasy football, wrestling. It's there. On Twitter for your fantasy football and football needs. You can follow us at FlexNet1. As soon as it comes back around. Yeah, at the Flex Network 1. Be sure to follow us there for your football and fantasy football needs. And of course, on the other side of the spectrum, you should be following us for your wrestling content at the FlexNet_PW Elite. Be sure to follow us on YouTube as well at our YouTube channels. Just search Flex Network. And for Flex Network Wrestling, just search Flex Network Wrestling. Be sure to give a like and subscribe to that. And then, of course, for all your podcast needs, we are on Spotify. We are on Apple. If we are not somewhere where you listen to podcasts, let us know. We'll get there. And we will flex. But that is going to be it for me. We will be back next Thursday for the Wrestling Week in Review show. Break down what went down at Full Gear and at Power Struggle as we're on the road to Survivor Series, on the road to great things on the way. And then, of course, I'll be back next Wednesday for your not fantasy football. That's not me. I'll be on for the NFL Week in Review show. So make sure you check that out next Wednesday, 6 o'clock Pacific time. And then next Thursday, I'll be back for the Wrestling Week in Review show, 6:30 Pacific time. Make sure you guys check that out. I am the Snowman, and I am peacing out. Later.
This has been the Pro Wrestling Week in Review show.
You got some fellow Canadians.
But when you're from Calgary,
Where's that?
Alberta, Canada,
A one-way first-class ticket to Larryland.
What is it with you folks coming to Florida? Stay in your own country. This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody. Right here.
Why me? Why me? Why me?
don't blame Canada, blame yourself.
Feels like showtime every minute to me. I can't help it.
No. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ta-ta for now. We're out of time. Good night on Nitro.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Well, you're welcome, Jurassic Slap Ass.